I was very young and very angry, but I was also very conscientious of what happened and how it would affect me for the rest of my life. And my ink tells my story. The ink was slinged from not a needle per se, but a guitar string made incorporated into a Walkman's engine, and he wired it up, and it's an amazing thing how they did it. And he worked on my back piece in particular for over 30 hours. I knew how to define everything I did in my life, how I moved, how I thought, and my tattoos really wanted to express that. They wanted to show the world that every time that I took my shirt off, that everyone around me would know that this is what I was about. Greetings and salutations. I'm Victor Usordi. Welcome to my channel at 28 to Persevere. Thanks for watching. At the end of this video, smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's all very much appreciated. Earlier today, somebody was asking me about my tattoos, and the person wanted to know which ones I got while I was inside and which ones did I have prior to going into prison. I only had one little tattoo prior to going to prison, which I got when I was about 18 years old, indicative of the party lifestyle that I lived, flying on the wing of time. Time was irrelevant to me at that particular time in my life, and all I wanted to do was fly on it and have a good time. So that tattoo really indicates as such. All the rest of my ink I got inside. The person who was slinging ink in the joint, who I was closest to, was a phenomenal artist, and he was very clean and professional in his work. The only one I truly trusted to ink me up, because obviously the health ramifications of hepatitis and among many other various elements you can get from a dirty needle and of sorts. But in prison, tats are an interesting concept, and it's a phenomenal thing because it tells your story and it indicates your experience to the world. And for me, it was very personal. Obviously, it transcends just the image projection. It is something that I truly was totally focused in my intentions of telling my story through my skin. Being incarcerated at an early age and experiencing the things that I experienced, I wanted my tattoos to say what I was unwilling to say at that time in my life, my experiences. And the person who did the work for me, he knew me quite well. He saw me grow up throughout the years. We spent about 12, 13 years together while we were in the Auburn Correctional Facility. And as I stated previously, he was clean. And the ink was slinged from not a needle per se, but a guitar string made incorporated into a Walkman's engine, and he wired it up, and it's an amazing thing how they did it. And he worked on my back piece in particular for over 30 hours. At the time, they didn't do a lot of checks as far as walking down the gallery, the COs that is, and so what we would do is when we were out of our cells, we would literally go into another person's cell who was doing the ink, and we'd have literally other men posted looking for lookouts, basically, so that we could sling the ink and get the work done that we wanted to get done. And there was a whole system and a whole process of slinging ink inside the joint that we adhered to and adhered to extremely. So it was very beneficial for everybody. And I am, personally, I couldn't wait. I was so excited to do it because initially I wouldn't let anyone do that to me. A lot of guys want to ink me up because the only piece I had was this very small piece prior to going to prison, which indicated my experiences prior to that. And basically flying on the wing of time, that's what that indicates. And because I had so much fun as a kid, and time was completely irrelevant to me, that I was flying on it, and I was just living in the moment and soaking it all up. But when I was in prison, all my tats, which I show within a photograph or in this video, really tell my story. My back piece in particular, The Price of Freedom is Eternal Vigilance, a phenomenal quote by Thomas Jefferson, really indicates what happened to me and my lack of vigilance at that particular moment in my life. So it's an amazing story, and obviously the tattoos in particular, getting them inside the joint is a process, and you really have to be conscientious of who it is that you're allowing to ink up your body, not for health purposes, but because it's forever. It should tell your story, which most tattoos do. They tell the story of the individual, their experiences. And my experiences were pretty indicative that I needed to express them in such a fashion that I no longer could express them at that time of my life. I was very young and very angry, but I was also very conscientious of what happened and how it would affect me for the rest of my life. And my ink tells my story. My arm sleeve is obvious through the fashion of prison, and it basically tells you uh, my stages and the deplorable process of dehumanization that you go through, and how you try to hold on to it and not get sucked into the abyss, because when you look into the abyss looks into you, and that tattoo truly illustrates that factual reality. Maintaining a will to persevere and a will to live, I knew had to define everything I did in my life, how I moved, how I thought, and my tattoos really wanted to express that. They wanted to show the world that every time that I took my shirt off, that everyone around me would know that this is what I was about. And no matter what happened, no matter what was going to happen, my will to persevere and my sense of fortitude that I had inside me, and that will to persevere no matter what, really was and is indicative of how I moved each and every day. Still do to a large extent. So it was really important to express that through the ink. And I remember when they did the arm piece in particular, he stopped numerous times because my arm swelled up like a balloon, and there was so much blood. We went through so many shirts. I mean, we had so many state shirts, which are white shirts, and time and time again, was just shredding them up and wiping me down. And he had to stop numerous times because he couldn't see the ink. It got so red, but we just kept working. I was just like, let's go, let's do this. As I said earlier, the back piece took 30 hours. Obviously, we didn't do it all at one time. We did it in stages, and each day that we would work on it, he would do a piece at a time, and put it together like a puzzle. It was pretty remarkable. His artistry and his eye for this, and the eye for detail was incredible. And one particular moment, which was pretty comical. I was in my cell waiting to get cracked out for the day, and he stopped. He wasn't yet on the gallery to come talk to me, and the porter at the time stopped by my cell, and he said to me that the guy who was doing my work, he's on the draft, meaning he was being transferred out. And at that point, the vast majority of my back piece wasn't completed. There was basically an outline and a few details here and there shaded in, but the entirety of it wasn't done. So I was in an uproar, completely stressed out, and I was like, what the hell, what doesn't matter. When this guy's, I'm going to put my back against his bar so he can do it before he packs up his gear, because he'll be leaving probably within 24 hours. When you're on the draft, you're in your cell for 24 hours before you're transferred. And I was stressed, and I was pacing myself, just waiting. And then about 15, 20 minutes later, as I'm pacing myself, I'm still totally stressed out. And all of a sudden I look up, and there he is. He was standing in front of my cell laughing, and he wanted to play a little trick on me because he knew how excited I was and how determined to get this done. So obviously it wasn't on the draft. It was a joke that they put on me pretty good. So I remember that pretty vividly. But he worked on me. He worked on me for days, and we were very aware of our environment, obviously, and we had to be really cognizant of what was going on around us, because if something truly popped off in the yard, if they fired shots or they locked the spot down, then we were screwed. Because if you get caught with a fresh tat inside, you're going to the box and you're damaging state property. I mean, that's literally the charge that they would charge you with. And you would be done, and your piece would basically be done, because once the scar's over, you can't. The scab is there. You can't hit it again. But thankfully, thank the gods, it didn't work in that fashion. The fates would have it that he finally finished the work, and it was a hell of a process. And I remember, as I said, he had to stop numerous times. I mean, my back was covered in blood, and a lot of guys were like, Vic, this, I don't know how he's going to finish this. Your back is bright red, your arms are swollen. But we went through it. I mean, as the task would indicate, fortitude and perseverance. That's what it was all about, and he did it. And I give him a shout out every day, because um, I truly admire what he did, and the work that he did. And the artistry and the creativity in prison is incredible. Some of the artists you meet in prison, the creative genius is profound. It really truly is, and it's something that goes underreported or not acknowledged at all by the grander society. But a lot of artists are inside the joint, and they're truly remarkable in their field, as he is and was. And I haven't been in touch with him obviously since I was been released, but wherever he is, I give him a shout out every day because of the work that he did. And I mean, he made a killing inside the joint. He was renowned throughout that prison because of his work. and everybody would come see him. It didn't matter who he was. I mean, the guy didn't discriminate. He slung ink, and he loved his craft. So it was a pretty remarkable experience, to say the least. Just another quick illustration of the creative genius inside the joint. I want to show you all something. This right here is made of pieces of cardboard and cloth. My Viking ship. This is incredible work done by a brother of mine that I have in my man cave here, among many other paintings, mostly landscapes, done by other creative artists that I've collected throughout the years of my incarceration. This is my favorite of all my pieces, something that I truly cherish. And he made this for me, surprisingly, so I didn't know he was doing it. And he did it because, as he said, the Viking needs a ship to sail on out of here to greater shores and to bigger, better things and prosperous lands. And he made that for me. It's something that I wholeheartedly appreciated, and something that to me is extremely important and very, very personal. But it just illustrates, the creative genius, and something that I have always admired, something that I am in awe to. That being under the circumstances that we were, this was a means to an end for so many men, to help them with their mental state, their sense of mental health awareness, and being conscientious of the things they were going through. They found solace in their work, as any true artist does. It's catharsis, and something that I admired. It shows an inner strength also through their genius of their artwork. We find our niche in this life to find out who we truly are, what we truly stand for, and some of our work that we do. It could be an artist doing a painting or some other form of creative genius. We really tap into what this world means to us and what we mean to it. And by expressing what we value and our purpose in this fashion is something that truly defines our characteristics moving forward. So with that being said, go with the gods and persevere.